The Rise of Women's Football, World Cup Edition. The Rise of Women's Football, World Cup Edition. Women's football, once seen as a mere sideshow to the men's game, has undergone a significant transformation in recent years. It has grown in popularity, with more and more women playing the sport and attracting a global audience. The Women's World Cup is now one of the most highly anticipated events in the footballing calendar, showcasing the best female players from around the globe. Despite the growing popularity of the women's game, it has not always been plain sailing. Women's football has faced numerous challenges over the years, from gender inequality to a lack of funding and support. However, with the rise of women's football, those obstacles are seemingly being overcome. The roots of women's football. Women's football has a long history, dating back to the late 19th century. However, it wasn't until the 1970s that women's football began to gain some traction, with the first Women's World Cup taking place in 1991. The tournament was initially dominated by the United States, who won the first two tournaments in 1991 and 1999. However, as the game has evolved, so too has the competition. Fast forward to 2019, and the Women's World Cup has become the pinnacle of women's football, with 24 teams from across the globe competing for the coveted trophy. The tournament, which is held every 4 years, has attracted millions of viewers around the world, with fans tuning in to watch their favorite teams and players compete for glory. Gender inequality in football. Women's football has come a long way, but there are still challenges and issues that need to be addressed. One of the most significant issues facing women's football is that of gender inequality. Female footballers often face discrimination in terms of pay, sponsorship, and opportunities, despite their talent and dedication to the sport. For example, the winning team of the 2019 Women's World Cup, the United States, received a prize of $4 million. In contrast, the prize money for the Men's World Cup in 2018 was a staggering $400 million. This disparity in prize money highlights the gender pay gap that still exists in football. It represents a significant issue that needs to be addressed to ensure gender equality in the sport. Another issue facing women's football is the lack of visibility and support. Female footballers often struggle to find sponsors and funding, leading to a lack of investment in the sport. Without adequate support, women's football cannot grow and prosper, limiting the opportunities available to female footballers. The rise of women's football. Despite these challenges, women's football is on the rise. The sport is attracting more players, fans, and investment than ever before. The rise of women's football has been fueled by a combination of factors, including increased media coverage, international tournaments, and growing interest from sponsors and investors. The Women's World Cup has played a significant role in the growth of the women's game. The tournament has become a global spectacle, with millions of fans tuning in to watch the best female footballers in action. The 2019 tournament, held in France, attracted record-breaking viewership figures, with over 1 billion viewers tuning in to watch the games. This increased interest in women's football has led to increased support from sponsors and investors. Brands like Nike, Adidas, and Puma are investing in women's football, sponsoring players and teams alike. The investment isn't just benefiting the top teams and players, it is also trickling down to grassroots football, ensuring that women's football can continue to grow and prosper.